All right, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you're at. Welcome to Skyway Bound presents Fly Tampa Fly. I'm still working on my production schedule. I'm kind of behind the curve, but like many of you guys, I have a lot going on. But whatever. I'm just having a good time trying. I'll keep trying to get content and improve the content as I just get better at this and have a good time doing it. So sorry for being late in the month of June, which means I've only got a few more days till July. But let's get right into it. All right, here's our question of the day. Before I start, please like, subscribe, all that happy Facebook, YouTube, social media stuff. That'd be greatly appreciated. I am not getting paid yet, but definitely in the future, that's definitely a goal. Back to the question of the day. The mature stage of a thunderstorm begins with A, a formation of the anvil top, B, the start of precipitation, or C, continuous downdrafts. And our ACS code for today is PA.I.C as in Charlie, K as in kilo, 3 small h, small hotel, which I would like to own one. All right, enough of my shenanigans. So one of the things we're trying to do is really encourage people to get into the world of small business, aviation, entrepreneurship, and get them to own small businesses and really grow the aviation small business ecosystem down here in the Greater Tampa Bay area. Right now I'm solely focused on the Tampa Bay area, and that includes Pinellas County. We can include Pasco, maybe some parts of Manatee, and of course Hillsborough. Whoever else wants to be involved, but I'm really focused on this part because I just think it's needed. There's enough people. People keep moving down here, and so this brings me to. Let me click my slides here. The FAA and the space race. Did you know? The FAA is involved in the space race in a roundabout way. Usually you think of the military or you think of NASA, but the FAA actually exists as a regulator. The primary concern is safety regarding commercial space operations. They explicitly target the safety of the uninvolved public, you and I, the passengers. Space operations, of course, are very risky when you compare them to regular aviation in general. So that's what the FAA does. They focus on a few key areas, primarily to license launch and re-entry operations and site operators or spaceports. They do not license or certify the launch or re-entry vehicles themselves, but just the operations. They license the operation. They license the operation because each operator has their own systems. Blah 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 blah. They don't do the systems. They say, hey, you can have a license to operate in our space. They issue experimental permits. They conduct safety inspections of launch and operational sites, and they review payloads in coordination with government partners. So there you go. The reason I bring that up is if you're somebody that's looking to get into the world of space and you're not going to work at NASA, maybe there's a way into the door from a civilian point of view. You're still going to have to deal with the FAA. You can't avoid the FAA. So I hate to break it to you. All right, let's move on. Oops. The NOTAM Improvement Act. More talk about the FAA. So I'm including this, these slides with the FAA because if you do decide to grow a small aviation based business, then it's what you're gonna have to deal with. So I'm trying to work on my formula of how I talk about the FAA and get, myself, it's a learning experience for myself. So I'm trying to get a little bit more refined and understanding the regulations more as I try to learn more about the industry as I grow back into this industry. All right, the NOTAM Improvement Act of 2023 was recently passed in Congress. It directs the Federal Aviation Administration to improve the notice to air missions systems. I always thought it was called Notice to Airmen. I looked it up. I couldn't. I think you see it depending on the document different ways, but that's not important. What is important is it's going to be a bill that the president will eventually sign, and let's see. It's going to make sure our NOTAM system operates with the most up-to-date technology available, making our system more resilient and enhancing safety in the national airspace system. So for those of you who don't know, NOTAMs provide real-time information about airports and airspace to ensure a flight is conducted safely. Those of you who are already pilots understand that you always need to check the NOTAMs before you take off on any flight during your pre-flight planning. And it's, an improvement of the system. Let me backtrack. There was an outage. Where is it at? There was an outage that really highlighted. Oh, here we go. Nope. I had it in my notes. I lost it. There was an outage earlier this year. Oh, here we go. Earlier this year, there were several flaws were revealed in the current system. In January, there was a widespread system outage that led to an FAA issued nationwide group stop in the national airspace system. So there you go. So they're kind of speeding up the process to improve the system because there was a major outage. It's unfortunate that there had to be an outage to spur this kind of change and as quickly, but that's it. It happened. So that's what's happened. I bring that up for you to, if you're looking at a small business, not sure, if you have an aviation transportation business, this definitely will affect you. But just a little awareness for the FAA system, airspace. Boom. Powered lift. Now on to the fun stuff. I love the futuristic stuff. The FAA is finally, or I should say finally. I don't mean that to sound sarcastic, but I'm not trying to be sarcastic. But they are now finally proposing pilot training requirements and operational rules for powered lift aircraft. You knew this was going to come. This was going to come eventually, and it's good to see the government is moving forward with this, because me personally, I would like to fly eVTOLs, however you pronounce it. Let's see what my notes say here. Under the proposed rules, a clear pathway is proposed for pilots to earn powered lift ratings specific to each type of aircraft they're going to fly. Pilots who work for powered lift aircraft manufacturers could serve as the initial cadre of flight instructors. If you're looking for a job, start looking at one of these companies, or start one of these companies, who could then earn and train instructors at flight schools, training centers, and air carriers. To safely accelerate pilot certification, alternate eligibility criteria would enable certain pilots to meet flight time experience requirements faster. This would apply to pilots who already hold a commercial pilot certificate and instrument rating. So if you're a commercially rated pilot or more, and you have your instrument tickets already, there's some good opportunity. The world of vertical takeoff and landing and this eVTOL is it's here. It's already here. So just look out for it. If you're interested, hey, we'll put some links in the description, of course, so you can do help you steer your research. And then let's see, what else did I want to get out of this? I'll put the link to the Advanced Air Mobility website and the FAA's updated blueprint. I think that will help you. So they have an updated blueprint that was just released, it looks like yesterday, June 14th. And individuals can comment on the proposed rule for 60 days after it is published, which was yesterday. So I think it sounds like you, the public, you can comment, make some comments. Let's see. I think that's it. That's good enough. I had a bunch of other notes, but it's I'm actually running out of time here. So let me move on to the next slide. The goal isn't to be long-winded here, but apparently I am long-winded. All right, more eVTOL stuff. Flight simulators are underway. Lilium and Flight Safety International sign a flight simulator and training agreement. This is definitely a world I might get a real job, a corporate job, to get into this world, because I love simulators. I'm a huge fan of how simulators can really make your training so much safer. And this is interesting. I'm definitely watching this. I might jump in. Let's see. jump into this world. Let's see. Future pilots and mechanics to be qualified by Flight Safety International in their industry-leading training devices and simulators, state-of-the-art flight simulator representing the Lilium jet to support the type certification. And Lilium's I wouldn't call them a startup, but they're one of the popular companies that are trying to get certified for their vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, and you can invest in them. They are publicly traded. I am not a financial advisor, so don't take my advice. All right. Let's see here. Let's go on to the next slide. There's another opportunity. If you're looking to get into the world of flight simulation, that's another reason I bring it up. That's just trying to give you ideas of what you might be able to do. And if you can bring any of this to the Greater Tampa Bay area, I'll be here to greet you, and so will other people. We want you. We want you. All right, there's a Miami company. So I highlighted a Miami company. They're actually going to take this concept and turn it into a flying car, which they're not the only ones, but they happen to be in Florida. So I want to, I don't think we have anybody in Tampa. If there's somebody in Tampa doing this, please let me know. I definitely want to highlight you and let the rest of the Greater Tampa Bay area know about you. But in the meanwhile, we got people in Florida trying to work on this in the Miami area. It's close. Yeah, and they're bringing flying cars. Let me see what I said about this. Durrani Aerospace. They launched a new fundraising round in a quest to bring electric aircraft to home garages by 2025. It might be out of my price range, but I am highly interested in that. They are a maker of the Durrani H1, an electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft designed for everyday consumers. Ooh. I might be able to get one. With a flying range of 60 miles per trip, that's a little short, but I would give it a shot. The two-seat vehicle is being marketed to commuters who want to avoid traffic congestion. And actually, I might reach out to these guys to see if they'll use me as a tester, because I would definitely like to avoid traffic in the Greater Tampa Bay area. It's probably not as bad as Miami, but it is getting worse, and I'm all about avoiding traffic. All right. Moving on. I think I missed this. Okay, yeah, this is late. Okay, I didn't put the date on there, so that's all right. Recently, the National Business Aviation Association, they held a tax seminar to provide a comprehensive understanding of how the appropriate tax laws and regulations apply exclusively to business aviation operators. If you're going to get into the world of small business, you do need to understand not just the FAA regulations, but also the IRS or the overall U.S. government regulations that could affect you and your business. I put that in there, and I also put that in there because I'm trying to encourage people to get into the world of aviation from a broader perspective, not just, yes, I want everybody to fly. I want everybody to be a pilot, but that's not going to be, not everybody wants to do that. I want to encourage everybody to get into the world because it's a huge industry, and the ability to bring those STEM or STEAM related jobs to the Greater Tampa Bay area it's unbelievable. If we could bring more of those jobs to more of our population, especially the underserved populations, that would be awesome. And it would just make us I just want to make us a hub. And we need accountants. We need people that can deal with taxes. So that's one reason I put this up there. And also the MBAA is a good organization if you're looking to get into small aviation small business. It's good to network with industry folks. Ooh, recently I went to what's known as the FAA, let's see if I put it in the comments, safety team, the FAA safety team. They have a program called the Wings program. People that are flying should be fairly familiar with this. But you can get Wings credit that goes towards your flight reviews if you're a pilot. And I want to say the mechanics maybe can too, or the air traffic controllers, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not going to look it up. You can look it up. But definitely the pilots, we can get what's called Wings credit that applies to they call it a flight review now, but it's every 2 years. I like biannual flight review, but they don't use that. They just say flight review now. During this, we were able to meet. We did this locally. They meet locally in the Greater Tampa Bay area at various airport-related venues. And recently, we met at Albert Whitted. I think it was last week or the week before. And it was a good discussion. They actually had local air traffic controllers, and it was really, really, really a great event. I'm really glad I took the time to go to it. A few quick highlights. The air traffic controllers reminded us of the advisory circular 90-66. I think current version is Bravo. That conciseness in your communications are highly encouraged. I really liked how they were talking about, for example, when you're coming in for a landing, you don't necessarily say, it's kind of confusing to say aircraft, blah, 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 where you're at. I'm inbound for landing. They just say, call them your call sign and just say when you get to the what you want part, just say landing instead of inbound for landing. That's what they said, and that's what the book says, the little advisory circular. Some of their local pet peeves: you don't need to say the K when talking on, like I always say KSPG, KPIE, etc., etc. They say unless you're filing a international flight plan, you don't really need to say the K. So we can say SPG, PIE, etc., etc. Here's a reminder: they are short-staffed. Sometimes like I had a controller kind of get onto me and a new student recently, but I just take it with a grain of salt because they are in demand and they are doing their best to keep us safe. They do want to help you. But what they wanted to point out to us during this meeting was that they are short-staffed, but they're working on hiring. They've really ramped up their hiring efforts. But they say even then, even if they get enough people this month, you still got to train those people. So relief is still some time away, but they are working on it. And then if you're flying out of KS or SPG, old habits die hard. Oh man, I'm running out of time. All right, let me speed this up. You can go on this site. We'll put it in the description. The Wings program. Definitely do it. It's a good program. Albert Whitted update. Boo, boo, boo. Today I don't have a real update for you. I just want to put this love for albertwhittedairport.com. If you could go ahead and subscribe to whatever newsletter they have. They also have a Facebook page. If you could subscribe to that, and I'll put this website in the description as well. And if you're interested in showing support for the Albert Whitted Airport, we don't want to see it go away. We already don't have enough airports, and the aviation industry is only going to grow. It's never going away. So why would we take another away a very vital resource? There's not many other airports. They're not going to grow another airport, build another airport. So anyway, I support Albert Whitted, and if you want to support Albert Whitted with me and this group, go on their website and subscribe, and then go onto our Facebook page and like. Did you know a little bit of history? Tampa Airfield in 1926, before it was what was called Drew Field. Tampa International used to be called Drew Field. And it was owned by a farmer, John H. Drew. He was a contractor, real estate operator, and co-developer with a guy who was called the Cigar King of West Tampa, a McFarland guy. They bought the area and they turned it into a private landing field. Eventually the city bought the land and it was named Drew Field, and eventually it's what today doesn't look like that in the picture. I just wanted to share a little bit of history with you. That's a nice picture of what Tampa International was before it was really Tampa International. So some brief history, and I'll try to get better on and get more history for you guys in the future. But every one of these episodes, I want to make sure I get a little bit of Greater Tampa Bay area aviation history to help people start better appreciating their aviation heritage locally. Question of the day. Here's your answer. The mature stage of a thunderstorm begins with A, a formation of the anvil top, B, the start of precipitation, or C, continuous downdrafts. And the survey says, it's right there on your screen, the start of precipitation. And you can go to the Pilot Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge and the Aviation Weather Handbook. I will put the links to those two documents in the description. The Pilot Handbook, it talks about thunderstorms begins with the cumulus stage in which lift and action of the air begins, because the thunderstorm has three distinct stages before dissipating. At the point when the thunderstorm reaches the mature stage, which is the most violent time period of the thunderstorm's life cycle, at this point drops of moisture, whether rain or ice, are too heavy for the cloud to support and begin falling in the form of rain. And this creates a downward motion of air. ESC was continuous downdrafts, but that wasn't what the answer was trying to convey to you. And I get these. I don't make these up. I get these from like the FAA, like one of the FAA tests or one of the online free exams. So that is the answer. And then you can go to the Aviation Weather Handbook and let's see what they say. I think this is where they give that specific definition. Cells transition to the mature stage when precipitation reaches the surface. And precipitation descends through the cloud, drags the adjacent air downward, creating a strong downdraft alongside the updraft. So I think that's the point. That's why continuous downdrafts, because it's not just downdrafts, it's downdrafts and updrafts. But it definitely is the start of precipitation. All right, so that's going to conclude for today because I've gone over time and apparently I just need to work better on my scripts. And I thank you for joining. Remember to like, subscribe. We can only grow. Hey, if you want if you want a better personality and doing this for you, and you do it. And I'm only doing it because nobody else is doing it. I just feel like there's a need. Hey, if I can grow it and I can eventually monetize it, great. If not, if somebody else does it and beats me to it, hey, good on them. The Greater Tampa Bay area will be better for it. So I definitely encourage anybody to do this and take it to a better level. As always, I'll run their slides after. I want to thank my sponsors, Mind My PC. If you are a small business owner or bigger, and you're trying to be your own IT department, and that's not your core competency, let experts let you do what you do best. Let them do what they do best, and that's taking care of IT infrastructure, cybersecurity needs. If that's not your core competency, let professionals do it, because you can't do it all. Good luck if you think you can, but call my friends at Mind My PC. If you can't, you'll see their information on the slide in a minute. My friends at Jetline, I always thank them. Today I'm not in their studio, but I'm in my office studio. But they normally give me space to do this, and I really appreciate them. They've also helped me with my simulator setups, and they can help you if you want to get into simulator gaming computers, whether it be just on a basic personal level, or if you're somebody that's looking at connections with government, some sort of contract, business contracts, flight school contracts, government contracts. They do that as well. They're working with major universities around the country, already installing computers into various flight programs. And then, of course, on a personal level, a lot of individuals reach out to them for help with their flight simulator needs. So reach out to my friends at Jetline Systems. Their information will be coming up right after this. And then, always, I'm Skyway Bound Aviation Services. I provide primarily, I'm focusing on primary flight instruction right now because I just think there's such a huge need for that. The elementary school of aviation is what I'm trying to provide, that kind of education. I just want to get people into the world of aviation because the aviation industry continues to grow, continues to get bigger, and I want this area to be a leader in the world of aviation. I think some people would argue we are, but I would say Orlando would say otherwise, and the Space Coast would say otherwise, and Miami would say otherwise. Let's get more people into the world of aviation within our community here in the Greater Tampa Bay area, and I'm here to facilitate that. All right, and that is it. I think that's it. As always, if you got a business dream or you want to learn to fly, reach out to me. Don't quit. That's all I can say. Don't quit. If you're looking to get into business, the road is long. It is hard. I've been working on this for a while, and I have made strides, great strides. Yeah, but I'm not quitting, and I don't want you to quit. So don't quit. Please don't. Sky's the limit. I believe in you. You can do it. And as always, fly Tampa fly. Of course, now there we go. I'm still working on my transition smoothness. There we go. Oops. I'm out. Oh no. Oh no. All right. Peace out, folks. We'll see you next time.